technology presentation by Mr. Prasun Srivastava, lead architect APAC for Thales. May I request Mr. Srivastava to come on?
So my session is mostly going to be on most of the things that were already spoken about. So I'll be able to probably skip through a couple of slides here just to make this quick as soon as I have these slides available. Right. So as we all probably have heard, most of the speakers on the dais today speaking that breaches are actually happening out there, irrespective of one would have thought that with cloud, the journey beginning and consolidation of all these huge budgets concentrated on preventing breaches in a single platform, one would think that we would be breach-proof right now, by now. But unfortunately, that's not what we have seen. Apparently, most of the guys who had been breaching us earlier have also consolidated their efforts and decided to go after the larger pot out there, which is sitting now in a very consolidated manner. At the same time, regulations have not been forgiving. Most of the regions in Asia Pacific, we have seen privacy regulations, etc., coming up hard and fast. GDPR being the first one that took that step. And when it comes to fines and whatnots, GDPR really rules the roost out here. A lot of organizations have been made to cough up a lot of money because of breaches that have happened. Larger organizations, what we have noticed, and again, this is from a consolidated report that we take out globally every year. We contact most of our customers and other people and consolidate all their responses to figure out what is the trend out there in the market. Larger organizations is what we have seen most likely to be hit with ransomware, malware, and stuff like that. And when it comes to Asia Pacific, India really seems to shine as an attractive place for all these attackers to try their hands on. Most of them have been, state sponsored because, I would say most of our neighbors are really hungry to know what we are doing out here for whatever reason. But, it's great that even though we are seeing so many attacks coming from different places, trying to capture most of the data out here, we have been able to stave off a lot of these because of the cybersecurity practices, which are very mature. I personally have seen the entire APAC region. I personally feel India in its cybersecurity practices are very mature as compared to many APAC regions out there. Now, when it comes to ransomwares, one of the most common ransomware attacks which is noticed in India is a form of double extortion attack, specifically in the government and PSU sector. It essentially means that not only is your data encrypted, but the data is actually shipped out from wherever it lies within the infrastructure or on the cloud or wherever. And at the end of the day, the extortion mechanism is kind of threatening you in terms of making that data public. So it essentially depends a lot on the loss of reputation that you would face if that data was made public. A lot of private sector organizations in India have also been threatened in a similar manner, and their data being made public on the dark web, etc. But that seems to be the most common way of doing things out here. I'm not going to go too much into our product, but suffice to say that our engineering and all the funding that we do in our resources across the globe, we have, with the threat intelligence coming into us from different regions, we have focused our efforts in making sure that our solutions are capable to mitigate this threat. So looking at the common ways in which these malwares attack data, irrespective of whether it's encrypted or not. We have been able to come up with solutions that are able to whitelist legitimate applications only. And we have run many simulations against known ransomwares that are common out there to figure out if we are able to actually prevent such attacks or not. And to be very honest, about 75% or 80% success rate is what we have currently seen. Our engineering team is still making efforts in making this product more and more advanced so that we are able to ensure as much protection as possible. That being said, because it deals with encryption inherently, that is, we encrypt the data by default, we are able to definitely stop double extortion attacks, in the sense that even if the data is shipped out, because the organization retains the keys to the data is not decipherable or cannot be made public, and you cannot be really threatened in terms of loss of reputation. So that's something that we have been able to hit right. Another thing that has been talked mostly in these sessions is about cloud adoption. We know that multi-cloud is the way to go, as we heard most of the opinions out there. No vendor lock-in. Everybody would want to put their services or create their service in such a way that they can decide to utilize whichever cloud service provider out there is available. In fact, we are seeing this trend also in India. Apart from the huge amount of money that is being spent and expected to be spent on cloud infrastructure, both private cloud and public cloud infrastructure in India, we are seeing most of the organizations increasing their multi-cloud adoption in India. So if it was 10% out there in 2021 who were adopting one or more clouds, today we see 20% of them doing so. So this is really a huge trend out there. But irrespective of that, whether the data is moving from one cloud to another cloud, or whether the data is sticking to one cloud service provider to the other, the breaches that have been reported have also increased. It has increased from 35% in 2021 to 45%. So apparently, those guys who are really after your data have also understood how to go about it, how to ship out your data. So most of the panelists have already spoken, so I would be brief here. As you probably know, because of the shared responsibility model, sovereignty or ownership of your data really lies on your own responsibility. So which essentially means that the choice to be autonomous in the cloud space, to be able to ship your data from one cloud service provider to another cloud service provider, or to be able to ensure that your data cannot be breached in any way on the cloud, can only be achieved by ensuring that you own sovereign ownership of the data, while it moves not only from the servers to the inherent services that has been built in the orchestration layer of the cloud itself. Now, one of the ways to do so is very simply put, when you go ahead and rent out an apartment from any landowner, the only way you can actually prove that you reside in that apartment is to own the keys to the apartment. If you do not have the keys to the apartment, then it essentially does not mean that you are the guy who is staying there. So same is applicable to the data. While your data can reside on the cloud or anywhere else, as long as you own the keys which is used to open or unlock the data, that would mean essentially that that would prove that you are sovereign owner of that data itself. So that's exactly what we are also getting a feedback from all our customers or large enterprises. The global Fortune 500 companies out there, organizations out there, view encryption and key management as the most effective way to reduce cloud risks. specifically in the zero trust approach. So we have a uniform platform that provides all this capability that I spoke of, right from the encryption capability that I described to owning the data in the cloud by ensuring that the keys are managed within your sovereign boundary. All of this is already there. And Gaurav also mentioned that we are focusing on discovery and classification and tokenization of data as it moves from one border to the other. So all these products are something that we are investing in and ensuring that we are able to help organizations prepare for the future. This is a zero trust blueprint that I thought of putting out here. Essentially, what it shows is where we play a role as Thales. While perimetric protection is always a part of zero trust security and ensuring that zero trust is maintained and managed properly, but Thales has focused its efforts in ensuring identity security, identities which are used to authenticate to different services, different applications, different servers on the cloud, protecting them, ensuring that they are under your sovereign control, and also by ensuring a data-centric protection to all the data which you put on the cloud, ensuring that they are under the sovereign control of organizations as well, irrespective of which deployment architecture you choose, whether it's SaaS, PaaS, or IaaS, doesn't really matter. So thank you very much. Hopefully I finished it in 10 minutes. Yeah, I kept in time. Thank you.
Thanks, Prasun.